Good day. How are you this fine Wednesday? I want to talk today about confusion, what's going on. People are really anticipating like full disclosure coming. 6/11 is going to be a big day, as in my previous video, that things could happen that could be so monumental that's going to really mess with our consciousness. And will it be full disclosure, partial disclosure? Disclosure of the corruption in the government would be, I think, primary. That would be first. So once you have that, then basically from there, other disclosures will come. So let's put this in perspective. I want to kind of do a deconstruct of what to anticipate from my perspective. So more or less, it would be you have all these criminal elements of the cabal. But basically, they have been involved in so much child trafficking. You're starting to see some major breakthroughs in finding, a daycare center in Washington, D.C., where they're pimping out the kids to the elites. Okay? Nexium. By the border with Cemex, the concrete owned by the Rothschilds. So you can bury and get rid of kids very easily by either incorporating their bones into the concrete itself, just a guess, I don't know, or you just concrete them over somewhere where no one's going to be able to find the bodies. And then also probably going to hear other things, what they do with the bodies. What's in fast food meat? It's a disturbing subject, and I guess I didn't warn anybody about that, but you could have some incredibly sick, perverted things that you're going to find out about that's going to be really hard for people to comprehend. And I think what will happen is people are going to have to seek therapy because they're going to be like, they can't believe it. When I started learning about this stuff years ago and kind of doing my own research, essentially that's what kind of came as like, oh my God, it would stick with you for days, and you'd be like, you go through like a sickness and illness. You felt horrible. You didn't feel like reality was normal. You start looking at the world differently. And in the beginning, I didn't even believe it. I was like, this can't be. This is a little far fetched. These people seem like nice people. Well, it's perception. And remember, the media is there to tell you a story that the elite wants you to hear. It isn't necessarily the truth. The one thing that Michael Trimm was talking about is, where's the next step? What do we do? Where do we go with this? And my thought is, it's just going to naturally, organically happen, is we're going to have an awareness that we didn't have before. And if something happened like a major flood or a fire or something like that, think about the perception. Maybe we can stop it with our minds. Not say we're all going to float around and be happy because now we have full disclosure. We still have challenges we have to live with as a human race. We're still going to have to overcome a lot of issues that we haven't before. So look at it that way. Let's break and deconstruct a lot of things too. If the elite were so rich and powerful and had their tentacles in almost every agency in the national government, as well as the governments around the world, that's a lot of money. They controlled the Fed, the Federal Reserve. They control a lot of things. Now they're losing that grip. And I really look as, what Dave said of X22 Report. Amazing channel. To really get a lot of good information. He has good insights into things. But basically, the whole Middle East thing with Syria was just to free the Syrian people. Assad's not that bad. I mean, they all want him out. Then you have to realize, well, maybe he's good. When they want you out, you're good. Get Trump out. Well, Trump's going after him. Of course they're going to be mad. So a lot of times you think of this left-right paradigm, too. We have to break away from that. Not all of them are good. There's a few good ones in there, but you are compromised when you run for office. You're not the same person. You may have went in with good intentions, but when you get in there, you're invited to these parties. You're blackmailed with some kid. You're knocked out with a drug, and all of a sudden there's naked picture of you with a child doing something Maybe they have the child do something to you. Who knows what it is? I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. All I want is it eradicated from our society. So you have that issue as well. So you're going to have a lot of that breaking down, as well as what secrets have they kept from us? If they've done that, they've probably lied to us about everything. Think about what they've lied about as far as medicines, military hardware or technology, where the money is, where the gold is. And when you get into technologies in medicine, those can go hand in hand. Some insiders that listen to like Emery Smith or Corey Good or even Tony Rodriguez. There's a lot of others as well that have had experiences that it's not all rosy out in space either. But we're not supposed to be limited in our knowledge anymore. We're supposed to know stuff that no one's telling us. It's like almost become like, I always look at the analogy, we are the guys in the closet in the mall, and everyone's walking around outside, but we're not. We don't know what's going on. Some of us have peeked out the door a little bit. Some of us have actually gone out in the hallway and saw stuff, went back and told us, and we all went, he's crazy. What does he know? Who are you to judge? Who are you to say he's wrong? Or she's wrong? Think about that. So, the elite has misinformed us, has turned us against each other, race, sexual identity, to a point where they've written white papers about it. It's all bizarre. Nothing makes sense anymore. And what it really kind of looks like to me is we're pretty messed up, but we're on the verge, we're on a tipping point. And the tipping point is to open that door and go out into the mall and see what's out there. See that the universe is teeming with life when they found bacteria growing on the outside of the International Space Station. In those harshest temperature, life does survive. Why are we so gullible to think we're the only ones in the universe? Why would we think that? It's because we don't have proof, or do we? And the ones that are doing all these sick things are hiding it from us, so we don't know what's really out there. Think about that. Think about a lot of things that you've not considered before that are true. Our perception is also how our lives have been shaped by religions. Well, God didn't say that, or there's no proof in the scripture about that. Really? You're going to base it on one book. So if they land, they're not going to land in front of you either. Aliens are not going to land. They're already here. The thing is we're going to learn how to access that information and be exposed to it. They may just show up and sit in the sky. My previous video about the earthquake could happen in the Pacific. Let's say it happens. Let's say that cracks the Pacific plate, causes tsunamis, causes damage. What if land masses come up out of the ocean because of it? What if that happens? So I don't know, it could. I mean, there's thought that something's going on in the Pacific Rim. You have Guatemala, volcano, that insane one that went off. Hawaii's going off. There's I think it's the Solomon Islands. A lot of activity, lots of earthquakes. Smaller ones. But maybe it's just what's supposed to happen. You ever think of that? Maybe it's supposed to happen. Maybe it's always supposed to have happened. Maybe it's just life could be random as well. We're on this rock. But also there's cycles. And part of the cycles could be the sun. It also could be a lot of other issues that we don't even know about. Because we're basing our reality on what we see around us, right? What if our math was wrong? What if the sun is electric? as I've heard in many different sources in my investigations. People that know me know, you always are what's going on? So they always go up and ask me. And I have a responsibility, which I feel as I should, as this time happens, to help you guys through with a perspective that maybe no one else thought of. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I know that what I know, I feel passionate about. And I think people that are waking up feel passionate about it. So they might as well open your minds and think of the possibilities. Is life working so well right now? Not really. It's pretty tough out there for a lot of us. Been working multiple jobs. The economy is better. Yeah, the numbers are better. But it's the older system that's been run by the elite. That system is about to crumble. And when it does crumble, there's going to be some hurt. People point fingers, probably at the wrong people, but maybe it won't happen like that. Maybe people will be aware. They will be educated to us what's happening. And a people's money system will begin. And maybe then some technologies will be released that'll change our economy forever. What if they have 0-point energy? It means free. Abundance of water. Desalinization. Maybe we'll look at how we store water differently as a society, opposed to penalizing people in California for having 55 gallons of water a day. If you go over that, we're charging you $1,000. Government control is not going to solve the answer. And Brown's excuse was, I'm using the money for infrastructure. Well, the penalties, $1,000, that's inhumane. Inhumane. You are not supposed to be taking money on the basic right that people have. Who do you think you are? What government entity thinks that they have that right? I lived in California. I left California because I felt it was restricting my rights. I didn't feel free, and it's a beautiful place to live. But now it's becoming a shithole. Literally, no one will be bathing. They'll have dirty clothes. And everybody will stink. Therefore, you can put your 2 and 2 together. So in closing, remember that things are going to change for the better. Also, one other thing I was going to mention about, besides water and power, is food. You think the elite may have a technology that might be able to print and flash cook food, as per Emery Smith when he worked in some of these underground facilities? He mentioned that. And that's pretty interesting in itself when you got that kind of technology out there. It's amazing stuff. Why are we not part of that? Why are we driving fossil fuel cars? Everyone complains about it, but they're not going to release the technology yet. Yet makes us feel guilty that we're driving a car we need to in order to get to work, in order to pay for the car, in order to pay for the house, in order to do everything we need to do, because there's not the technology that can make our lives easier. I think we'll always have some sort of money or bartering system because I think it's the right thing to do. But technology and time will make it a lot easier for us to do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? So this video is hopefully informative to you. And leave any comments below. I'd like to hear what you have to say, what you think, feedback. I'm kind of starting out. I'm not a real tech savvy guy. Maybe I get some help to try to get more information. But I feel like I should convey that to you because it's important. To put in perspective. Put everything in perspective. Don't panic. Don't watch the news. Now's not the time to watch the news. These are just lying to you because that's all they know how to do. They get their orders at 4 in the morning and that's it. Take care. God bless. And have a great Wednesday.